Hello, everyone. Today, I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Nikhil Mahadeshwar, a renowned cybersecurity expert and technology-based innovator with more than a decade of experience. Nikhil is the founder at Cybersecurity India. He is a digital forensics investigator and consultant for various law enforcement and private investigative agencies. He's also a certified cybersecurity analyst and computer hacking forensics investigator. ISO 27001 2013 Information Security Management Systems lead auditor and certified threat intelligence analyst. Nikhil is also a cloud security engineer. Nikhil has trained more than 50,000 people on cybersecurity awareness and delivered lectures to entrepreneurs, school and college students, police officials, corporates, and many more. He has also been awarded the youngest entrepreneur and also was presented as the youngest researcher in the National Conference of Social Media Responsibility. Nikhil writes and speaks on cyber affairs on national and international media. Please welcome Nikhil.
Thank you, Romita, for inviting me here. And obviously, you are doing a very good work for creating awareness in the cyberspace community. So, thank you very much for inviting me. Let's start.
Most welcome, Nikhil. So, today we are going to cover a very interesting topic. And I think it's a very new and informative topic for me. So I'm sure it's the same for our audience. We're going to talk about cybersecurity for digital forensics because Nikhil also his expertise is into digital forensics. So with that note, Nikhil, I would like to ask you, what are the key elements and challenges of cyber forensics?
Okay, so the key elements when we say about key elements of cyber forensics, as we are working a lot with a lot of like law enforcement agencies and also private companies for investigating their cases. So I will say it totally depends on if it is an individual case or if it is a corporate case or even if it is a case which is related to or investigated by the law enforcement agencies and anything which is related to forensics. So we nowadays need to have evidence in place that too which are admissible. So these are the main elements basically. For example, if you go into the detail and if you are investigating type of a case where there is a ransomware attack, so there are different type of elements which are important. And now the scenario of digital forensic investigation has changed from investigating cyber crimes to traditional crimes also. So let's say if it is not compulsory that in a data breach case only digital forensics is required, but nowadays in a case like where there is a murder case or a kidnapping or a suicide case, there also cyber forensic plays a very important role, and because now people are using mobile phones, Wi-Fi routers, computers, hard disks, and a lot of electronic devices. Also, even if you are using some IoT device at your place, that is also now coming under the scope of cyber forensics. So that is also really important because any piece of data can help you to investigate any type of crime and while doing this forensic investigation. So these are the elements which has to be present or considered basically when we look at the investigation part from the layman perspective. Now, when we talk about the challenges, so that's another question connected to the first one. So the challenges are, I think we are still struggling with the SOPs. There is no such standard operating procedures which everyone is following. So it's all everyone has their own methodologies. But ultimately, the aim is to conclude with a solution of the case, or to basically catch the fraudster, or to first of all detect the crime scenario, and then go ahead. So every private company is following separate methodologies for that. And the challenges here, what I feel is a lot of anti-forensic techniques are also used nowadays, where forensic investigators face a lot of challenges. We'll talk about it in the later questions also. But when we say about anti-forensic techniques or lot of type of challenges as the technology is evolving day by day, so there are a lot of challenges which digital forensic investigators are getting. One of them is anti-forensic techniques.
Thank you. I think that was a very informative answer. So we're covering a new topic today about cybersecurity for digital forensics. I would like to ask you if you can explain to us, what is, cybersecurity for digital forensics, and how is it actually different from a normal from a normal enterprise cybersecurity or a banking cybersecurity, etc.
Oh, see, these two domains are separate, first of all. One is digital forensics and another is cybersecurity. And when we say about these two domains are different and it has its all subdomains. Cybersecurity is something which we talk about VAPT audits for your vulnerability assessment, pen testing audits for your organization, like let's say like your web applications, mobile application, infrastructures, servers, and a lot of other things are there. When we talk about a small business cybersecurity plan, and also like digital forensics is something which comes with like investigative perspective. Now, when we say about investigative perspective, so let's say if there is an incident, investigator comes and tries to investigate who has done it, from which IP it has originated, and a lot of other aspects. And forensic also includes of forensic readiness. So, like you have to be always forensic ready. So nobody can guarantee that there will be no incident or when that incident will be. So your organization should be forensic ready so that tomorrow, if there is an incident, you investigators and tell them to investigate. There should be enough logs, enough forensic environment for investigating that case. So this is the difference basically between what I can say is cybersecurity domain and digital forensic domain, and these two are very different domains, but they are we can say going hand in hand with each other. That's what also I would say.
Okay, great. I think that was a great perspective that you brought into life. You spoke about being forensics readiness, right? So, can you explain us in detail, a little bit in detail, what do you mean by forensics readiness and how important it is?
Okay. So when we say about forensic readiness audit, so forensic readiness comes into picture, may it be a small organization, a big organization, or any type of organization. And when we say about, okay, you have to be forensic ready. Let's say you are a very small company of, you are having some 4 to 5 applications, or we can say, or systems which are like 10 to 12 systems. And if there is a data breach case, so, are there enough logs which your Windows system or Linux system or your Mac OS system is storing? So, when we say about forensics, and as you asked about details, so forensic investigation is carried out on multiple fronts, and there are specialized investigators or companies who, as the domain is so deep. Let's say we talk about Mac forensic is different, Windows forensic is different, Linux forensic is different, server level forensics are different, and then there are now companies moving to the cloud infrastructure. So cloud forensic also is in trend, and on a different perspective here. And that is how I think that the basic configurations, let's say you purchase a AWS or a Azure or a Google Cloud or any type of like any cloud services. So they are with their by default configurations. And tomorrow, if there is an incident into a cloud environment and an investigator comes, so it is not necessary that you will come to know about the incident on that time. If there is a data leak or there is a policy change into your cloud systems, and if you come to know after, let's say, 2 months or 3 months, and the by default policy of 30 days log prevention, so then you cannot investigate the incident. Secondly, what are the challenges where you don't have a different team for IR, incident response, and digital forensics here? This type of snapshots or virtual like machines are not created. The investigator requires a system of the specific environment, of the same environment where the attack has taken place. Then talking about small companies, or as I told you, not using cloud environment or using cloud environment, that we talked about the on-premises scenario. So how many companies are actually storing their login, log off type of data, or entry in, entry out type of data? That is really important. And there are a lot of companies who are managing the active directories, but are they storing the active directory logs? And what is their policy after their let's say they are storing of 30 days or 90 days or 180 days? What is their purging policy? That is also really important. So these are all the things where forensic readiness comes into picture. And when we say about, okay, web application, a lot of companies are running their whole business on, let's say, HR portal. They have something, or they have some as you mentioned about bank. So banks are there. So there are multiple things which people are dealing with. So their web application should also have the capacity to store the specific logs, store the specific information up to a specific period. That is important, and that is what the forensic investigators work is, to check each and every control where this log should be stored, and which activities log should be stored tomorrow, in case there are 10 entry points where the attacker can come inside and pull out the data. All the 10 entry points logs stored in a correct manner. Is there a facility to pull out, take the system to the 30th day, prior 30th day, where we'll get a snapshot or a VM machine of that system? When there is a data breach in your computer, let's say as a on premises, so you have to clone that hard disk, and then that policy should be in place. So we are now coming up with cyber crisis management, business continuation plan, and every policy. But this forensic readiness audit policy should be also the part of this, and not only on paper, but actually it should be executed. Because while investigating, a lot of companies become like into such scenarios where there is a lot of bunch, you can see, of papers. You say, okay, I have this policy, that policy, but then when we actually go and check, the policies are not implemented, and if implemented, then not monitored in a correct manner. And that is what we have observed in a lot of investigations.
Yes, you're right. I think, a lot of processes that many of us create, we don't really follow it. So, good. Thank you for the insightful answer. With that, my last question to you would be, in digital forensics, okay, in which stage of the investigation exactly cybersecurity comes in place? Like, at what stage of the investigation do we include cybersecurity?
So, okay, so this answer basically depends on the scenario. That is what I will say. If you are investigating a case where there is a ransomware attack, or there is a cyber extortion case, so totally depends. As soon as the incident happens, you have to involve the forensic investigator. And also, as I told you about forensic readiness, there you have to involve the forensic investigator or digital forensic investigator pre-incident only, so that you should be ready. But like if some company doesn't has the provision of it, as soon as the incident happens, you have to involve the incident response team, digital forensic team. That is what I'll say. I'll just give you one example, one or two examples. So one case which we were investigating, obviously, I will not take the name as we sign NDAs with it. So there was a one company, and that company basically was having some database of their customer, which were including their financial data, their identical data. So like their driving license, or their Aadhaar, or their PAN, and a lot of financial data also. And approximately 50,000 was the number of that database. And they receive an email stating they have this data. The company receives the email from the attacker stating they have this data, and now pay so and so money in crypto, else they will go to the media and this will go viral and everything. So now when we started investigating this case, first of all, the time when the email came, and the time when we started investigating, and the time when the attack actually happened, has a lot of differences. because as soon as the incident happened, they received the email. It is not compulsory that data is taken on that specific day. We were appointed as an investigator. We started investigating their infrastructure, their system, and whatever the scope was. We came to know that the malicious agent was sitting into the system 6 months prior and analyzing all the data. And then when they got to know, okay, this piece of data is really important for them, or this is enough data basically to uh, send a cyber extortion email and everything, then they directly send the data. And that company, I tell you, they have invested crores of rupees on security, on all these policies and everything, but they are not monitoring it. So it doesn't make sense if you keep a firewall or a high configuration server and some secured systems, and you just buy it and you just keep it with default policies. It also matters if you are monitoring them or not. So here is where the forensic investigators role comes into picture, and they need to get them involved. Now I'll give you an example of cloud premises. So this was about on premises. There was a company again, which is a very huge company having offices at multiple locations in the world, and they were having more than 5,000 employees. Now they are managing everything on cloud, and there is some new user which is created into the cloud infrastructure and into their active directories basically specifically. And then there was some policies which were changed, and this thing they got to know after 3 months of the incident, after 90 days completely. And now they have to again investigate. And also we were appointed. Now the time this company, these big companies take to onboard a vendor is also, they have some their processes. They have to do a vendor registration and everything. And when as an investigator, your every minute is important, so that you don't miss out on something which is overwritten or which is deleted as per your by default policies. So they came to know after 90 days. Our onboarding took nearly 15 to 20 days as per their process. And after signing the relative documents and whatever the process were. And when we started actually investigating the system, strategizing the investigation, so we came to know the by default logging policy is of 30 days, 30, and all the logs were gone. So in that scenario, we have to give an approach where assumption based investigation is done. So there are multiple ways so to recreate that scenario and see how it is basically, we can say that attack has been taken place, and give a report on the basis of that. So you have to involve the forensic investigator as soon as the incident has happened, or at least it has came to your notice. So the incident has happened, and you cannot predict it unless you investigate it.
Thank you, Nikhil. That really sounds scary, as well as, it sounds like investigating agencies like yours, companies like yours are a blessing, to any system or institution. So I think it was a very insightful webinar, very new things that we covered. Thank you for your
I
time.
will just here add one more thing here. Like,
Sure, sure.
see, as I told you, from the corporate perspective, or from the we can say enterprise perspective, this is an invisible threat. That is what I will say you. Okay, we keep security guards, we have CCTV cameras and everything. But what is going inside your system, outside your system? What are those insider threats, and what are those known threats or unknown threats? Or so that needs to be monitored very clearly. And if it is not monitored, and like you, then you may get a surprise on a sudden day that, oh, okay, I have lost my data, or my computer is having my data, or my data is available over the dark web. So this type of things are really important. And when you are looking for a forensic investigation, as a, don't look it as an optional service or an add-on service. It should be a must-have thing. Look at cybersecurity and digital forensics or any type of related thing as a must-have thing. When you basically drive a car, you require driving license. That is a must-have thing. So it is like to drive a business, you actually must have cybersecurity and digital forensics things like in place. We are moving towards digital India, or like we are already in it. But let's build a digital secured India together. obviously we are responsible citizens of the nation, and let us be responsible netizens. Let us use this technology responsibly, this internet and all this technology responsibly. That is what I will say. Yeah.
Exactly, Nikhil. Right. As you rightly said, India is transforming digitally, but the precautions and safety and awareness on digital transformation is very important and critical. So thank you so much for your time. I think it was a wonderful webinar, and we would definitely like to speak to you about this particular subject once again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time.